We've always had room in our hearts for film and TV, not just on Netflix, but tape and disc in theaters. Also, God forbid that they take it all away and leave us nothing to broadcast to loyal listeners. We'll binge watch every single movie, so you don't have to. What else are we here for? Coming to you every week. Listen to us while you're busy. Luckily, we forgot to grow up. Hey everybody, it's Craig.
Hey, it's Scott.
Hey, it's Andrew.
Welcome to episode number 59 of the Forgot to Grow Up podcast, the episode where we praise Bloor for power. Because everybody's back now.
I'm here for now.
For now, until the power goes back out again.
Hey, we don't know. We don't trust these Trent Hill power grids, man.
That touchy rural grid.
Rolling blackouts are a thing.
Only out there where there's
I was like, that's never
abundance
happened to me
of power. Yeah, I don't remember the last time power went out.
We have like water.
Exactly. You got hydroelectric dams. You're almost drowning in them.
We have two of them. There's a one on either end of town.
See?
The problem is that you're in the middle.
That's
all the
true.
power is going out both ends. So Havelock and Brighton, they get all the power. And poor Campbellford in the middle.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're here to talk about.
No,
that is
we're here to talk about
that's
magic.
That's for another episode when we'll talk about the Ontario power grid and everything that's
for
wrong
episode
with it.
100 where we totally forget everything.
We could go on. There's lots of stuff to talk about with Ontario's power grid, but we're not going to do that. We're going to talk about Harry Potter. I almost did. We're going to talk about Harry Potter. And then we're going to talk about what we watched this week. It's going to be great.
And then we're going to talk about Craig's mustache.
You had to bring it up for the audio listeners because
Yeah, I
we also
did.
don't
You
videotape it anymore.
You can't hear the mustache. But it's there.
Scratch good, just.
I was doing that.
Should we all just like do a little brush up against the mic with our mustaches?
There goes all of our listenership. Well done. It's been a great ride, guys.
By one listener from Campbellford.
Bye, Mom.
All
Bye,
right.
my people.
All right.
Anyways, Harry Potter.
Yeah,
Have you guys watched any of those recently?
Recently?
Never.
Depends on how liberal your definition of recently is.
Since they
Or
came
Harry
out in
Potter
theaters.
movie. Since they came out in theaters. Ooh. I have not watched a movie since a DVD release of a Harry Potter movie happened.
Son of the bitch.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Craig, I want to start with you then.
I watched The Sorcerer's or Philosopher's Stone, depending on how you want to define it.
Depending on which country you're in, pretty much.
I think
Yeah.
well, according to Wikipedia here, it's listed as Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone,
Yeah,
but I knew it
changed
as
for the
the
States.
Sorcerer's Stone. So
Yeah, it was changed for North America, I guess. Was
there you
saying,
go.
not just the States. Yeah.
Weirdos. Is this so they wouldn't get blamed for witchcraft, even though they did anyway?
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they do in Fantastic Beasts eventually, but
Yeah.
we'll get to that.
So yeah, I saw that in theaters
Okay, so
back in
damn.
2001.
Yeah. Okay. See, I'm a little surprised by that, I guess. I don't know. For some reason, I just pictured your parents as not be approving of Harry Potter. I don't know
they
why.
did not. Well, at least my
Okay.
mom didn't. But
It's
that
blasphemous.
was before I watched the movie before they realized what the heck was going on. Because it
Okay,
wasn't
fair
really
enough.
a big deal. At least not like a widespread big deal until after that one, as far
That's
as I
fair,
can
yeah.
remember. So 2001. It's the last time I
Okay.
watched a Harry Potter movie.
The one and
Again,
only
depending
time
on
he's
how
ever watched it.
how broad your definition is going to be.
Trailers don't count.
Not trailers. I haven't seen a trailer for one either.
Okay, well then, moving away from you, Craig.
Yeah, somebody else
Because
talk.
clearly you just don't know what is happening. Scott, what are your top 3? Like, or you know what, better yet, if you had to rank them,
I had to
how
rank.
would you...
Okay. Are we
All the Harry
including
Potter-
Fantastic Beasts in this?
No.
Okay, that makes it a little easier then too, because I don't even know where I'd put that. Okay, well should I start at the one I hate or like the most?
Let's start best to worst.
Best to worst. So the one I like the most. Okay, I think that one's probably the Half-Blood Prince. Which would
Okay,
be
yeah, that's my number
I'm
one.
gonna go
That's
with
my number
recency
one.
bias on that one. That's way too soon for you to not like it or to like it more.
No, I have reasons though. I have more
I'm
reasons.
just kidding. I'm just
And besides,
joking, Scott.
there's 2 movies that are more recent than that one.
I know.
That's technically
That's
4 now.
how you should be able to tell it was a joke.
I'm
Anyway.
just saying. I don't know if you know where these things fall in. Just making sure. Anyways,
I have the timeline in front of me.
Oh, okay. There you go. Okay. Well, so the Half-Blood Prince, the reason I like it, though, is it's the one where they introduced a lot of lore into the Harry Potter, a lot of, like, background into, like, Voldemort and Dumbledore, and then we get an introduction into the Horcruxes and all that stuff, and that's...
Say that again?
I don't know. Horcruxes?
Horcrux.
Horcrux. Oh, my bad.
Horcrux.
Okay. I just
Close,
misremembered
close.
that. Okay, yeah. That makes more sense.
Just a little timbit of information right there.
Yeah, there we go.
Love Timbits.
So the Half-Blood
Yum.
Princess. There's another one. Oh, damn.
Princess, all right.
Can't get anything right, can I?
This is going to be a
damn it.
long episode, Scott.
Yeah.
We're on the first movie.
Yeah, which I was just watching. But no, yeah, I like this one because it's got a lot of the lore. Because that's the kind of stuff I really like about these different franchises. When you give me all that, like, that garbage that a lot of people don't care as much about, I like a lot of that stuff, like that background information on the different things. This is the one where we dive into a bunch of different memories from Dumbledore and then Snape.
And then Snape, yeah.
Exactly. And so I really like the background in it a lot. And it's got some action in it too, so it's, yeah. That's why I like this one. That's why that one's my favorite, I'd say.
Yeah.
Next.
I like it because it's for similar reasons. I like that you finally get to see them, like, not so much as just students. Like, you get to see them as, like, more adult.
Yeah.
Like, they've aged. They're not just the little kids anymore. They're trying to, like, take on full responsibility and do it outside of the rules of the classroom.
Yeah, no, that's a good point too. Yeah, that's a really good point about this one too. They're the least, well, not the least, but this is where they're, like, officially, like, you can see them a little bit more as adults. Then it's like, oh no, they're just kids, you know. Whereas this one's like, no, they're still teenagers, but they're kind of like, you can see them growing into the young adults that they're going to be in a sense in this one. Yeah, no. Even though the adults still treat them all like children, which annoys me sometimes in these movies.
Well, that's because some of those adults, you can't really figure out their age. Like,
That's
I'm
true.
fairly certain that at some point they talk about how the Chamber of Secrets was opened 50 years ago, the last time, and it killed a kid,
Yeah.
which would mean that Draco's dad is in his 60s, even though Draco was like 11. And it would also mean that so was Hagrid's also like in his 60s,
Yeah.
even
This
though he
is-
looks like
This
40.
has come up this weekend with a lot of stuff around like Fantastic Beasts 2, and that's JK sucks with timelines. Her own
Yeah.
timeline. She's the only one that's written everything, and she sucks with the timeline.
Well, she also like at one point said, like, before it came out, how old Dumbledore actually was. It's like, yeah, he's about 150.
Yeah.
You're like, oh no, he's like fucking 115.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
oh, that's a 35-year difference, bitch. Like,
Yeah, that's yeah, but she's also said at one point too she doesn't care as much about like dates and
Yeah.
stuff, and I'm like, well, that's
Can't build a universe and then not care.
because especially when you're jumping around in like historical, like slight historical,
especially
events
when you have
sometimes.
7 fucking books.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, you have plenty of time to figure it out. Like, no, I agree, and it's like, to me, it's like, well, you know, you just gotta pick, like, when you pick a date, you just gotta figure out how it fits. So it's like, I don't know. That's why I don't. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. I forget where I was going with that. Not
You're
important.
heading into your next one.
Yeah. So my next favorite one, then, I guess, would probably be. Whew. This is a tough one for me. Because it's probably between either the last one, so Deathly Hallows Part 2, or Goblet of Fire.
Really? Okay.
Yes. And it's the reasons for that is, well, the last one, you know, is the culmination of everything. We get the big battle. We get a lot of, like, again, a lot of lore. But we also get the answers to a lot of the lore that was brought up in Half-Blood Prince and throughout the series. So I like that, like, especially with learning about the Deathly Hallows themselves, which, granted,
See,
I think was very last minute brought up, but I still liked it.
See, I don't have number 8 in my top 4. Like, it's in my bottom 4.
Oh, okay. This is
Because
interesting.
I felt like it was nothing but action. Like, I felt like the 7th one, like Deathly Hallows Part 1,
Yeah.
was all the substance. It had all the backstory. It had all the character development. You got to see people grow. They hit you with new information. And then 8 is just the exclamation point at the end of the sentence. Like it's just all the extra shit. Granted, I don't think they needed to break it into 2 movies at all.
Yeah,
They could have just given me one movie and cut a lot of shit out.
Yeah, they didn't need to
Or,
spend as
or
much
give
time.
give me one 3-hour movie.
Yeah, no, I
Like-
think they could have definitely done that, especially with like how much time they spend with them, like alone in the forests. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
we could have cut these scenes out. I read through these as quick as I could. Those chapters, it was boring in the
Yeah.
book. I didn't need 45 minutes of it in the movie.
Yeah. Well, even number 8, I'm pretty sure it's less than 2 hours long. Like I think it's like an hour 57 or something. Like it's a short movie.
I didn't get to rewatching those 2 before
Yeah.
this, so this could also be just a slight memory bias because I watched
That's
all
fair.
but those last 2. I
Okay.
didn't
So
quite get to it. Yeah.
so you got the last one is number 2. Tell
Yeah.
me why the Goblet of Fire is your number 3.
Goblet of Fire was my favorite book, and I liked
Okay.
it as a movie because they did a pretty decent job of bringing the tournament to life, even though there's a few discrepancies. But I'm not one of those sticklers for that. We've already gone over that before. But yeah, I liked it for that part. I like it that they're just starting to become. This is one where I see them as teenagers as opposed to children. Like 3, I still saw them as kind of kids, right? Like especially Ron being scared of the spiders. Oh no, that's the second one. Yeah, the third
That's the
one's
second one.
Yeah, the third one's still like kind of. Third one I don't like as much because it's just the way they fall. So this one, yeah, the fourth one is because
Yeah.
I feel like they're the most like actual teenagers as opposed to like the third one. They're a little bit like annoying.
Still
They're too,
preteen-y,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. They're too exactly.
So know-it-all teenager.
Yeah, and so like I like the fourth one for that. A little bit more action again. Like I do bias myself a little more towards some of the actionier Harry Potter movies, but that's just because I like a wizard fight.
That's fair. That's
yeah.
fair.
So yeah, I guess that's why it's 3. So 4 then. What would number 4 be?
What do you think of that? Do you want me to tell you my list?
Yes.
Because I've got mine down. Peg.
Okay. You go.
I start with Half-Blood Prince, like you said.
Yeah.
I agree with you there. I like it because, like I said, it's the beginning of when you see them as adults.
Yeah.
You get to see that they're almost of age. And then I got number 7 on mine. I got the first, I said, the first part of that. Then I get Harry Potter number 1.
All right. Yeah, I could see why you
Just
have it up
because
there.
for me, I was like that was the start of it.
Yeah.
I grew up with the books. I read that shit. I read all 3 of them in the first grade. Got hooked from a young age.
Damn. Okay.
Got hooked. That was my Christmas present from my grandparents.
No, I got the. It's
6
funny you
years
say that
old.
because I got them all for Christmases too,
Yeah.
but I didn't start reading them till the 4th book came out, to be honest, or
God
the
damn.
4th movie came out.
That's why it's your favorite.
Exactly. Well, it's true. That's the first one where I actually read the book before the movie came out, and that's when I started reading all of them. So that's probably why I have that slight bias too. Yeah.
So I've got number 1. It kind of starts. You get to start with them as kids.
Yeah.
I was a kid when I saw it, so it brings back that hits me in the feels where I was like, I'm growing up with this
Yeah.
shit.
No, I remember that feeling
This is
too.
me.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Yeah. And
I can't do a
good
I
one.
can't do a
I'd rate it.
Hagrid. I can't do a Hagrid.
Only Hagrid can do a Hagrid.
Yeah, like I don't even know how I would do it. I'm like, it's deep, but it's not that deep. It's cheerful. I don't have a very cheerful voice.
See, it's my biggest takeaway out of secondary characters wouldn't even be Hagrid,
Okay.
wouldn't be McGonagall. It has to be Seamus. Was it Seamus Finnegan?
Is that the one who blows his face
The
up all
Irish
the
guy.
time?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Dad's a muggle. Mom's a witch.
That's fair. No, I can
just love
see
it.
that. And I like that they kept the bit of him exploding his face through all like
Throughout the
everything,
whole thing.
and then they eventually
He has a-
embrace that. They're like, yeah,
like
go
a-
blow up the bridge.
What did she say? She has a previous proclivity to pyrotechnics or something like that. I was like, oh shit, that is alliteration at its finest.
Yeah. That's
But anyways, moving on from number 1. Then I got number 2, which is the longest Harry Potter movie, but I also feel like it has the most substance out of all of them because it really takes like every aspect out of the book, and I can't think of many scenes that you could take out of that movie to cut it down in time without it taking away from the movie
Yeah.
in general. Like it's like there's a few scenes maybe you could tweak, make a little bit shorter themselves, but as a whole, fantastic.
yeah. No, I can see why they'd be there on your list.
Next up, that's where I come in with my second part of Deathly Hallows.
Okay. Yeah.
My number 5 spot. because, like I said, it was just action for the sake of action in that one. A lot of yelling.
Yes.
A lot of
That's my one complaint about
aggression.
all of these is sometimes they yell for no reason. I'm like, like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just.
I don't.
so
I'll
much
talk
yelling.
about the example when we get to the
So much
third one,
aggression.
which is
Yeah.
like,
Which is next.
Yes.
That's next on my list.
okay. That one, like, there's this one scene. That one I don't like as much because the acting and I felt is like the most like meh for like the kids, mainly Harry
Yeah.
Potter, mainly for the one scene where he's like, he killed them. Ah! I'm gonna kill him. You know when he like finds out that Sirius Black was
total kid move.
And
where he's not thinking. He doesn't realize he's not capable of doing it. He doesn't know shit.
Yeah.
He's not even really a good wizard.
Exactly.
He just gets lucky.
He
He can conjure a Patronus. Good for you, man.
It just
like
it felt such like a forced scene. I didn't love that.
Yeah.
It felt too acting. Does that make sense? Like I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
you are acting right
Yeah.
now, and it's like,
Well, that's Daniel Radcliffe. As much as he looked the part of Harry Potter.
yeah,
Like he fit it. He was very when he got mad. He was very stompy.
yes,
You know, like when a kid like just throws his like no, no, and just
Yeah.
throws his hands down because he's always holding his wand full grip
yeah,
like this. It was never loose, like ready to swish and flick. It was always no.
it was killer grip. Yeah,
Yeah, and that's what he always looked like. And he was always stomping places. Like anytime he had an issue with Malfoy, he was just stomping.
yeah, and he does that like head crooky thing where you're just like,
Yeah,
no,
which he shouldn't do because he's like 5'5".
yeah,
like-
he's already super. Which is funny because like this is one thing I learned over the weekend, but in the books, Harry Potter's supposed to be like 6 foot.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be and it's like, oh,
Like-
Daniel Craft, he's sure. Like
Well, you start to realize in the third one, you're like, oh, okay.
all
well,
the
at
girls
least
are taller than him.
Yeah. Well, I'm like, oh, Hermione, she's hit puberty. I was going through it when it came out, and I was like, hell yeah, I'm crushing hard on you, Hermione. I crushed on you in the books. Now I'm crushing on you in real life. Come on, son. And then you're like, oh, she's like the same height, if not just a slightly taller than Harry.
Yeah.
And then you get over to the Weasley family, and you're like, oh, they're all huge except for Ron. They are all tall as shit.
They're all
and then
lanky
there's
as
Ron
shit
Weasley.
too. Yeah. That's what I like about like once you get to the end movies, Ron is just I don't want to say chubby, but he's a thicker.
Yeah, he's put some weight on to look more stocky.
Yeah, well, it's stocky. That's a good word for it. And then, but like compared to all of his brothers and even his dad, who's not like lanky, but not as stocky. It's
No.
weird. He sticks out a little bit in that sense.
Well, his dad was probably like, man, I got my ass kicked by Dalmatians. I need to beef up. Yeah, that's a 101 Dalmatians reference I just pulled out there.
I had never made that connection before until you just said that.
Is it not him?
I don't know for sure, but now in
Can
my
we fact
memory
check
it
this?
is. I haven't seen 101 Dalmatians in at least 15 years.
Is it? I'm sure it's him.
101 Dalmatians.
Is it not? Is it not?
Like which character
Mr.
you're talking
Weasley?
about? Mr. Weasley is like one of the bad
crooks.
guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Like, in my memory
Isn't it?
now it is, but I can't confirm that. But in my memory now it is because you've said that. I'm like, no, I think you're right, but I can't confirm it.
Because
I don't know
I
for
could have
sure.
sworn it was him, and then it was the guy whose name I always forget, who was in
You mean Hugh Laurie?
Muppets Treasure Island.
No.
Was it Hugh Laurie?
Hugh
Laurie is the
one of
dad.
the
He's the dad in
members,
it.
Yeah.
Euler's the dad in it. That I know for sure.
All right, I'm gonna say names. No,
Yes.
Jeff Daniels is Roger.
Wait, Hugh Laurie isn't the dad?
No, Hugh Laurie plays Jasper in 101 Dalmatians.
Man, where am I? Oh my god! Now I gotta IMDb this myself.
I swore he
it
was
Mark
the
Williams?
dad.
I have no idea, my man.
Is there two dads in it? Is that why I'm like thinking? Is there two families in 101
No,
Dalmatians?
maybe you're thinking
No?
of Stuart Little.
I'm thinking
where
Stuart
Hugh Laurie
Little.
is
You're
the
right.
dad.
You are right. I'm definitely thinking
So,
Stuart Little, where he's got the glasses.
Yeah, so Hugh
Yeah.
Laurie isn't in this, is he?
He's in 101 Dalmatians.
As a bad guy, though, I think. Or no?
Yes, he plays
Yes.
Jasper in 101 Dalmatians. He's
I
one of
don't
the
know.
bad
You're
guys.
saying
Oh, yeah, it's
Jasper,
Mark
but I don't know who
Williams.
that is.
It is. It is Mark
Williams.
Williams.
Is the one that
Yeah.
plays Mr.
Yeah,
Weasley,
that's-
Mr.
yeah.
Weasley.
Okay, you know what? I was totally thinking the other guy was, the guy from Muppets Treasure Island. He was on Psych. He played the guy who played the Simon Cowell type character on season
that
2, episode 1. He was the guy from Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Tom Curry. Tom
Yeah,
Curry?
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry. My bad.
Close. That's who I always get it confused. Because he's in a role like that, is he not? But I always think of him being in there.
I don't know.
See, I only remember his roles as villains, and so they all kind of blur together into mainly
Yeah.
McHale's Navy.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, now I got to go through his whole page of 793 different things.
Will you do that?
Just
Should
to
I
see-
talk about my Harry Potter ranks? Or
I will finish my list and then I'll go back to this.
okay.
Okay. So next up, where did I finish? 3? Number 4, Goblet of Fire is my second last one.
Okay. You didn't like it
Because
as much.
I didn't like the acting of a lot of the secondary characters.
No, I can agree with
Like-
that. I'll agree with that. Yeah.
Like it was, you look at what's her name? Was it
Floor?
Fleur Delacourt? Is that her name?
Yeah, like the French contestant.
That acting, yeah.
Yeah.
That acting was awful. It looked like they just grabbed some girl and they're like, "Hey, go just do stuff." And she's like, "Okay, wee." And then you go over to Victor Crumb and they're like, "Oh, here's some meathead. Okay, just go do stuff." And he's like, "Whoa." And then that's it. Like the only respectable acting was by that guy who Craig has a hard on for. I can't remember his name. He's the guy who played Mr. the Purple Man in
Oh, that's
Veronica Mars. Oh, David.
Veronica Mars. You mean Jessica Jones?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, same thing to me, man.
David Tennant.
That's the one.
That
yeah.
okay? Yeah, no. I was.
Yeah, he's the
I was
only
like, who are you
quality
even
acting.
talking about?
He's in 5 minutes of the movie too,
I know.
Now I'm
And
gonna
it's
have
the only
to watch
quality
it.
extra acting.
and he spends 4 of those minutes just doing this tongue thing, like
Yeah, the hello, father.
Now I'm gonna have to watch it.
Yep.
Yeah,
But it's seriously
Like it
5
was.
minutes.
yeah. It's like at the end too.
Yep. And he's in a small scene, like small flashback scene as well.
Yeah,
But that's also 5 seconds.
yeah.
Yeah. But so what's your last one then? What's your least favorite? That
Well,
leaves what?
that just leaves
Which one is
Order
it?
of the Phoenix.
See, this is one we agree on. I hate the
This
Order
is
of
my-
Phoenix.
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of the book. I felt like the book was just trying to like pump you up for like rebellion, which as a kid I did not rebel in the slightest.
See, it appealed to me.
And
a
I was
rebeller.
also yeah.
I was a pretender rebeller. Does that make sense? I wanted to rebel, but I had nothing to rebel against. I grew up in Welland. What was there to rebel
true.
against?
Yeah, see, I
The
grew.
canal?
I had no intention of rebelling. I was like, whatever. I've got it okay.
Yeah.
Like, and even the days I don't have it okay, whatever. I got. There's no way I can change it. So I just didn't really care. And then I think that was the beginning of my point of realizing that like rebelling is in like everything I've ever watched is really it's breaking the law. Like, and I'm not pro that. So I was like, this is one I'm just not really.
Star Wars being the
for.
exception.
Eh.
Why
But
they gotta
then-
rebel against the Empire?
But
Seriously,
no, and this
man?
and then they introduced that bitch Umbridge, and just
That's why
I was
I
like,
hate it. Like the
and I
movie
was like,
especially.
why did you have like? Someone would have realized. Someone would have stopped it. Like,
Yeah, that's why I couldn't watch. Like, I was actually when I was rewatching it, I had to stop that one halfway through because I was like, I can't keep watching her be so annoying and nothing
her whole
happening. Like, Dumbledore just like do something, like, or McGonagall shoot her or something. Like, I don't mean with a wand, like get a gun
with a
shoot
gun,
her,
we
like,
get a blunderbuss. Shoot
call the
there.
centaurs in a little sooner. Like, come on, people.
Well,
Why am I the
Well,
only one
she-
who wanted to get rid of this bitch so soon? Like,
Well, she was all about we need to keep or not keep things the same. We need change for the sake of change. And you're like, okay, but then she's like, I really want to be old and archaic, and I want to punish you in ways that are old fashioned. And I'm like, what? You're what? You're trying to do both things at once, and that is not how it works. Lean one way or the other, bitch.
Yeah.
I like your cats, but that is it.
I see, and that's another reason. It's just in the pink. I'm just like, I get that these are all like character choices too from the book, and I wasn't as annoyed with her in the book. Like I didn't have the same feelings about the book as you did, but the movie, I just at the time it came out, I was fine
looking at her
with it.
smug face.
Yeah, and just the whole time you're watching it, like I know where it's like, and not a lot happens in that one either. Like they spend the whole year like Harry, and that's another thing of like a slight complaint about a few of these. Sometimes like the lack of faith they both have in Harry sometimes, but then they do have it. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Like how little they trust him when he's always been right in every movie all the time. And they're still like, no, Harry, you're wrong. This isn't a thing. But then he ends up, this is the one where he, technically it was wrong because he walked into a trap. But it's just like, yeah, no. This is definitely my least favorite. And they kill off Sirius, which I'm like, he was back for 2 books. Like, what? You introduce this guy, really? And then you kill him off 2 books? Like, come on, JK. Like, this is not cool. Like, I get you had to kill him off eventually, but you could give us one more book.
She kills off every interesting adult character.
That's true. That's
every
true.
Single one of them.
That's super true. Like, does Lupin die too?
Yeah, they all of his parents' friends die, because then they end up with Teddy, him and Tonks's kid, who's like, oh, he looks like a puppy.
Yeah.
Or like he looks like a little bear cub.
Yes. I'd forgotten about that. Gosh. Yeah, no, I agree with you. That's definitely my least favorite one.
That was my least favorite, yeah.
Yeah. It's just, And then some of the acting in it too is a little bit.
Well, this is the first one I remember, like Helena Bonham Carter. I don't know if she was in the 4th one. No. But this is the first one I remember her.
Yeah, this is where she's introduced.
We all know, big special place in my heart. And she was spectacular.
Like, she does a great job.
She plays crazy to the point of perfection.
Yeah, and she fit it so well. Like it informed my decision of who that, what she was in the book. Like before, because I'd read the book before being introduced to her in the movie, right? So I was like, I had a slight idea, but then it changed immediately to her, which doesn't always happen. Does happen a lot, obviously, with movie adaptations, but this one it just felt right. Same with like she felt right for it the same way that oh wow, I'm so terrible. Oh, he plays Snape. Oh wow.
Alan Rickman,
thank you. Alan Rickman fitting Snape, like that same kind of like
where you look at him and you're like, yeah.
Yep, that's Snape. And then same with her. It's like, oh no, that's like you almost imagine like J.K. Rowling had them in mind when she had written these characters too, a little bit, if that makes sense. Yeah.
No, that's
I was trying to think where I was going with that.
Yeah. No, like she was, I don't know. It just disappointed me. It was just, as I watched it, I was like, I'll watch it again. I own it.
Yeah.
But just, it doesn't pique my interest like some of the other ones do.
Yeah.
I feel like the Dumbledore's army thing, like
even
seeing it come to life and just watching a bunch of kids have fun in a broom closet, learning spells.
Yeah, like I'm a big montage guy. We all know I love a montage. That could have been better montaged.
Yeah,
that they could have less talking, less instructing, a little bit more epic music, and people getting lit on fire. Like, come on.
Yeah,
that should happen when you're practicing.
Seeing the way it goes and how Harry has it thrust upon him.
Yeah.
That's just, oh no, I don't want to. Get the fuck out of here. You know you want to be the teacher.
Yeah.
You're the only person at that school who has done anything over the past 4 years.
Well.
You're telling me anyone's more qualified?
Well, see, that's where I'm a little bit well, Hermione, you were there for most of it.
Yeah, that's true.
You were the coach in a sense a lot of the time. He's just the player.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? He's the quarterback, but she's the one calling the
first
plays.
One the first one they wouldn't have gotten in at all.
Yeah.
Without her. The second one they wouldn't have found out what the fuck a basilisk was without her. The third one, they wouldn't have gone back in time.
Without her.
Like, they wouldn't have figured out most of that shit without her. The fourth one, kind of hit or miss. She was around though. She was looking pretty, so that's cool.
She helped with one of them. She got help a lot in that one though. So
Yeah.
she was busy being like drowned at one point, and
Yeah, it's true. Getting rescued by Sharkface Crumb.
Exactly.
The sixth one, she's a legend.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So exactly, like she could have taught it.
Yeah.
But
She didn't have the name value though.
Well, that's what it comes down to. Harry's just got the figurehead value in a lot of this
Yeah.
that comes which the series is about him, so we can't complain too much about it. It's like, well, I mean, we're watching a story called Harry Potter. Are we upset that we're watching a lot of stuff that like Harry Potter is the main guy in it? Like, it's like, yeah,
That's fair.
He is a little bit of a Mary Sue sometimes, though.
No, I'll kill them. But then that brings me over to, and this isn't part of my list, but just both of the Fantastic Beast movies.
Yes.
I'd say one isn't better than the other. I'd say they're two totally separate style of movie.
Oh yeah, they the two of them don't even interconnect very. They don't even the one doesn't feel like. I saw the second one over the weekend as well.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
And so it doesn't even feel much like it feels like a different movie. It feels like a Marvel movie in a sense where it's like that same connection between two Marvel movies where it's like, yeah, I know it's the same thing, but it's not a sequel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like the first one, I was like, oh, Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah,
absolutely, because they did focus on the beast and
that's what it was about. Him collecting the
aspect.
beast. Yeah, and there was this mysterious.
But then you get over to just the title of the second one.
Oh, it's
and
dumb.
I really like the second one. I liken it to Desolation of Smaug.
Okay.
I think it's very much like that, where it's it's the middle movie of the trilogy. It's not going to be concluded, but then yet you still see so much happening where you're on the edge of your seat and you're like, yes.
Yeah, that's
works for me. The fact that it's called Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald
is annoying.
They show you a handful of animals and then do nothing with them.
Yeah, they're added in for the namesake. That's the annoying thing about it.
They never really do much about the Crimes of Grindelwald part either. They just show him being himself. They follow him. He never really does any crimes.
Well, he incites some crimes. He does incite a few. He incites murder at the beginning.
That's one crime.
That's a pretty bad crime, though.
I think
murder is, I think, next to murder, I believe.
I think for it to be called The Crimes of Grindelwald, the guy has to be just killing everybody, and he's got to be doing this, and he's got to be doing a bunch of shit, not just I'm breaking out of jail because I have this vision, and then I'm gonna go talk to some people. And you watch it, and you get to see that he's very, very slimy.
Yeah.
He's beautifully eloquent with his speech, but he doesn't really do. It shouldn't be called The Crimes of Grindelwald.
Well, there's also the thing is he did commit a lot of these crimes
prior.
Beforehand. Yeah, in
but they
newspaper
don't
clippings
fully
in the first
talk
one.
too much about it. Though.
They don't
they show you a brief newspaper clipping.
That's what I mean. There's just literally newspaper headlines in the first one describing what he is, a couple of his attacks, and that's the limit to the crimes we've seen him do.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that one. It's a little. But at the same time, I didn't not enjoy it, but
There was also I liked it overall.
Yeah.
There was a few parts where I was like, oh, that was a misdirect on purpose.
Yeah.
A little too much. And then I spent probably a third of the movie just looking at Zoe Kravitz where the fuck have I seen you before? You look so familiar.
Which character did she play?
That is...
the love...
Lena, yeah.
Yeah.
Lena?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I could not place her face
She
either.
played Angel in the X-Men First Class.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
But I swear I've seen her somewhere else. She has a very familiar face.
I think she's in a TV show. I feel like she's in a TV show of some kind.
She must be. I feel like I've seen her in a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
But
no, I know what you mean. But yeah, it was... Yeah, I enjoyed it overall, but it definitely had a few things where I'm just like, well, that doesn't add up. Or that...
Okay, the part... Spoilers, by the way. The part where they show the one guy... I'm not going to say his connection to any of the team, but they show the one guy who was spurned by the family. He kind of kidnaps them, leads them in the wrong direction. You know who I'm talking about. I can't remember his name.
I remember. I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, him.
I can't. I literally can't.
When they show him like putting the drops in his right eye.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, like for me, anyways. And
no, I thought that was going to lead to something too.
Oh, we're like, oh, it's Grindelwald. It's his right eye. That's the one that's all messed up on Grindelwald.
Yeah.
He's clearly just pretending to be somebody because we've seen him change before.
Nope.
No. Just some guy with a thing in his eye.
He literally just had some dry eye that they decided to include in this movie.
That's it.
Like there was no connection to him having a dry eye. It was like
no. He's like, guys, I got like.
Oh wait, no,
I've got pink eye today.
My bad. There isn't. Okay, again, spoilers. Didn't he have a parasite?
Yeah, he had a parasite.
So that's what it was a connection to. Like
yeah,
his
but
dry
maybe
eye,
he actually maybe he actually just had like pink eye, and they're like, oh well. We don't want to postpone filming.
I think that was what well, maybe that's what they wrote the parasite in for. Like, oh damn it, this guy's got pink eye. How are we gonna explain that in the movie? Okay, well, give him a parasite.
Yeah.
No, I think it was meant to be foreshadowing, which I didn't put together till now that we're talking about it, because I forgot that he had the thing in his eye. Because that guy connects into it in no way. He just comes in and say some stuff, and then he's gone.
And here's another part, and this is massive spoilers.
Yeah, we're just spoiling everything for this one.
Yeah, this is a massive part. Okay, so
I actually intended on watching this movie.
Well, you should still go see it. It's a good movie. But okay, so they're talking about how there's that other Lestrange kid out there, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my god. And then they're like, oh, it's Cletus. It's Cletus. It has to be Cletus. And then you find out that this leader Lestrange is related to the guy with the eye parasite. Did no one stop to fucking look at him and be like, oh, he is 100% white. Okay? 100%. You get the super dark guy. That's fine. You get Leader Lestrange, who looks a little bit mulatto. There's a 100% white guy. There is no way he's related to them. Like, even if he was like some type of light-skinned version of that family, it doesn't make any sense. Well, did no one think about that part?
Well, no, he could have been the son, like, because the father of her was a dude who raped his mom, pretty much. Like, the Lita's mom, in a sense. Like, that's what they imply. Or straight out say. And
no, you straight up, you fucking jinxed that shit.
Exactly, right? So it's like, well, that kind of, to me, made it seem like, well, they think that guy went and did it with some other people. Yeah. And so that's the only, like, you know what I mean? Like a half brother, so like a different
just
mother.
The whole time I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, no, I agree. I didn't ever believe that they were all, like, they were related to Cletus. I'm like, this seems too easy. Like, because they mentioned it too early on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
well, there's still like 40 minutes of movie left after that.
That's what I mean. Because I knew it was 2 hours, so I was like, I had a pretty good sense of how quickly the movie was moving. So like when we got to that, I was just like, no, this is too soon for that. And then they do all the whole explaining. I'm like, well, nope, still don't believe it. And then they, you know, the reveal happens, and you're just like, yeah, no.
No, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you.
That does not work for me.
No. Like I see what you're trying to do there, but like, no. Just now. Are you talking
about the reveal right at the end?
Yeah, exactly. Like that.
Yeah, where they try to shoehorn it in.
Yeah, like literally in the last 10 seconds. And I saw it coming.
Like they used. And again, I really like this movie. People should go see it.
Yeah, I do too. But there are some things.
Big but. There's some things where you're like, And I think the issue with it is like they have an established wizarding world.
Yeah.
They've used Harry Potter to establish some history.
Yeah.
The books have shown that like certain things happened. And that, you know, the Grindelwald and Dumbledore, they were friends. They were bone bros.
Well, see, that's not in the books.
It's inferred.
It's slightly.
They have a previous some form of relationship. They have a
very intimate relationship as implied. Yes. It doesn't necessarily say.
I stand by bone bros. But they've established shit like that, and they've established some history. And then there's other books out that have been printed where it gives you like, you know, fake wizarding history that exists. So like they have to follow that. But then creating all these characters and having to write a story, for the first time they really have artistic freedom to make a movie that like they want to make.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's like, oh, let's do this and this and this. People are gonna love this and they're gonna eat this up. It's gonna be amazing. Oh, only a Dumbledore can get a phoenix, and when one of them needs them, they get the phoenix. And they're like, oh, here's a fucking phoenix. Get the fuck out of here. Like, come on. And if that, I swear to Christ, I swear right now, if that Phoenix turns out to be Fox, I am going to lose my shit.
You didn't know it was Fox when it first popped up?
I saw it and I was like, I growled a little bit.
That is 100%
I growled.
Fox. This movie, so these both are the first one that J.K. Rowling did the screenplay for. So she didn't write a book.
Okay.
She just straight wrote a screenplay for it. So what I've heard from other reviews, like other people's opinions, is that like she didn't have as much room to like books, you have more space to like fill out your story, right? So she didn't have as much room. So they're saying like this one was her trying to cram all the stuff she would normally spread out in like a 600-page book into a 2-hour movie. And like all the Harry Potter movies, they all were adapted from the books she wrote, but had screenwriters who like, you know, cut out the things that weren't necessary. Exactly. So that's one thing I've heard. And I'm like, that kind of makes sense to me because this one's got a lot of like, I could see how she was the one who made this because she had like threw all that lore and stuff in, which I love. You know, I love a lot of it, but a few of them I'm like, oh no, you're trying to take a few things from like Star Wars and Marvel's kind of like lore building, and you're like, they don't all have the same name. It doesn't always have to be like 3 families that everything happens to. Like, we already got Star Wars for that. Like, come on.
It's got to be Lestrange. It's got to be Dumbledore.
Exactly. Like, I'm just waiting for... I was surprised that Potter wasn't somehow dropped into this one somewhere. Like, they didn't expect that he was a Potter for some reason or some connection to that. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, oh, God.
A Snape. Ooh.
I'm just waiting for it. They got 3 more movies they're supposed to be doing because I think this is it's not a trilogy, it's 5, I believe they're doing.
5? Get the fuck out of here.
That's what I heard over the weekend, like when I watched the reviews for it. Yeah. 5. So this isn't even the middle one.
That's too many. 5 is too many.
This is the middle before the middle.
If they hit you with that number 3 would be a perfect amount for this. It's just...
Well, it's because they're spanning 2 decades. So this one, these ones take place before, like, early 30s, and the last one's supposed to end with Grindelwald and Dumbledore battling, which doesn't happen until the end of World War II. So that's 45, correct?
Yeah. So this is covering another like.
10
years.
So it's supposed to be like it's 15,
this one was like 27, wasn't it?
Something like that. Yeah. So it's like even longer than that. Like,
it's
15.
Oh my God.
20 years? Not 20, but like 17 years, I think. Yeah, 17 years.
Oh yeah, because they imply that World War II is like it's the wizards against the Muggles, isn't it?
Well,
they imply it because they show that.
I think that's what Grindelwald's trying to propagate, like trying to.
Yeah.
I think he's trying to use what like World War II that's going to happen as like a way to try and convince the wizarding world that they should attack first because the world's going to attack them anyways. If that makes sense. Yeah. That's how I saw it.
I don't know. Like I look
super ruining this for Craig.
Yeah. Some of the magic in this too, I'm
just not paying attention.
I feel like there's too much freedom with like who's capable of doing what. Like Newt Scamander is clearly like the best wizard in the history of the universe. Like the guy can stop anything that's thrown at him. He can blow on his wand and just create shit. Like he knows every spell that he happens to like to require, and I'm like,
well, he was an adult.
He knows too much. So, like, I'm used to seeing people like, oh, I'm going to use a basic spell, and this guy's like, oh no, I know everything. Well, also, apparating happens so much in these movies.
Well, if did not you happen. Couldn't, why wouldn't you? Well, yeah, because the kids couldn't in the Harry Potters.
Well, no, but even like the parents didn't just fucking apparate. Shit, even Dumbledore doesn't even apparate.
That's because you can't in Hogwarts.
That's true. You have to apparate at the end.
At the bridge. That's why we see them always popping up on the bridge in this movie, yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Like, he just knows everything. Every spell. Just...
Well, see, when they was doing the stuff with his wand, I felt that was her having had Doctor Who on in the background. Because this guy's Doctor Who. This guy's Wizard Doctor Who, let's be honest.
Into different shapes?
Yeah. Like which we've never seen before, but I'm not somebody who's like a stickler like that. I'm like, no, that seems like a good thing to do with the fucking wand. Why not? Like,
yeah,
like okay, why not? Cool, but it did feel like, well, first of all, I've always felt he was Like as soon as we saw the picture for the first Fantastic Beasts, I'm like, oh, that's J.K.'s wizarding Doctor Who. Why not?
Yeah.
Okay, like what?
It's the jacket, isn't it? It's the
Well,
fucking jacket.
It's the jacket with the hair. You can't have
the crazy hair
in the bow tie, like the bow tie
with that red mane.
Exactly. It's just like.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. It took you a little longer than I thought it would.
No, it's just like I just was like, did he do? No, he didn't. So I had to like double check the name in my head. I'm like, his name is Eddie Redmayne, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yep. And that's why I hit you with it.
Yeah, but yeah, no. And so like, whenever he was doing that stuff, I'm just like, oh yeah, this is J.K. She had fucking Doctor Who on the background when she was writing this screenplay. Didn't realize she was being influenced to it. Or she did. She was like, I want to make a wizarding Doctor Who. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. But yeah, Fantastic Beasts 2 was okay. Yeah. Despite of all the stuff we were saying.
Everyone go see it. I think I drafted it. I highly recommend going to see it. Do me a solid. It's the end of the year.
Yeah, we're going to check
I need
on
something.
Those.
I need something to raise me into number
like
2.
Our New Year special.
Yeah.
Will be the... This is what
Hey, I'm allowed to make a push.
Oh no, definitely. We still got a month of stuff.
And
Aquaman comes out.
We've already
when it
decided
comes out, go
this
see
doesn't
Wreck-It Ralph
count,
too.
So
You're only saying that because all your movies have already come and gone.
Mary Poppins is still not out, is it?
Yeah, you still got Mary
Did you
Poppins
draft
coming
Mary
out in, like,
Poppins?
I drafted
comes
Mary
December.
Poppins and then promptly forgot that I did because I want to
Did you?
believe that it didn't happen.
I don't remember you drafting.
I
it,
did.
Man. I gotta pull this up. Here we go. Okay. Scott drafted Infinity War.
Yep.
Black Panther.
Yep.
We can just finish it right there.
Yeah, we're done.
Incredibles 2. A Wrinkle in Time.
Wait,
what the fuck?
I got Incredibles as well.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
A Wrinkle in Time.
$6 billion.
Aquaman.
Okay.
And then 2 movies that didn't even come out this year as agents.
That's the annoying thing too. I was like, wait, you guys moved both
They
of
got
my
bumped.
extras.
Yeah, they got bumped.
Both of them. That's hilarious. Okay. So
Craig, you have Solo, Deadpool 2, Jurassic World 2,
That's
Ocean's
okay.
8, Tomb Raider, Rampage, and Mamma Mia.
Yeah, you can't even switch
I thought I'd
those
done
in.
Mary Poppins.
No.
Oh, it's written on my sheet somewhere. Wow.
And then I've got movies. I have Wreck-It Ralph 2. I have Ant-Man and the Wasp. I've got Fantastic Beasts. I've got Ready Player 1 and Venom with Sicario 2 and Pacific Rim 2 as my free agents.
Ooh, see, well, Venom's doing really well in China right now, so you got a chance. Venom's hopped up into like the top 5 for this year worldwide.
Hell yeah. Come on, number 2.
Or like jumping into the top 5. So
What a
you know,
bad year for movies.
I picked the top 3.
Yeah.
But in my defense, I don't know how neither of you got either the like. How did I end up with most of the Disney movies? Is my question.
I don't know. Maybe I was just hoping that the world had more substance than expecting just Marvel movies to be good.
Yep.
Well,
Like,
no,
I
because you
like to
picked the
think
Marvel
people are
one,
like, "Ooh,
and
this
it
movie
didn't
looks
do
good."
quite as well as the 2 I picked.
No. Well, I picked the worst one.
That came out this year. Yes.
Yeah.
I just mean like I don't see how you guys didn't see the opportunity in those ones like I did. But we can discuss that when we tally it all up at the beginning of the next year.
Yeah.
And
then
when we
draft
draft
our
next year, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, you know, we'll put a little more thought into. Maybe we'll do a whole discussion too. Like we'll do our like what we're looking forward to in 2019 the week before. So that way we can have a little discussion about what we think, and then the week after we'll do like actually draft the stuff.
That's fair. I accept that. As long as Ready Player 2 doesn't fucking come out.
I hope they make that movie. That sounds terrible.
It sounds so bad.
That was gonna be the worst movie I ever watch opening night.
Ready Player 2. Oh, it wasn't bad enough, so we doubled down.
Yeah.
I would love it too if it wasn't actually a sequel. It was a sidequel. It was happening during Ready Player 1,
Oh,
but
so
it was
it's
some
just
dude
some
who kept
fucking
losing.
guy?
Yeah, he was trying to catch up, but he kept fucking losing.
Starring Andy Samberg. I would watch that.
He's like, I got it. Nope.
No, he doesn't. I think
Oh,
that
man.
that should be really successful, like especially with
Yeah.
Craig's suggestion of Andy Samberg.
Yeah, Andy Samberg. Yeah.
Oh
or
yeah,
an Andy Samberg type. Like
I would watch the hell out of that movie
yeah, I would too actually.
just because of how much it hates on the original.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, that would. Well, every single mockumentary that he's ever been a part of has been liquid gold.
Exactly.
Like, was it 7 Days in Hell?
Yep.
Phenomenal. Which leads me into WWWTW,
What we watched this week.
or what we watched this
In
week.
some cases, 2 weeks.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, you're about to get a long list because this is my
Yeah, you start her off.
IWTM. What I watched this month.
Yeah.
Because it's been pretty much that fucking long.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like 3 weeks.
So, as I mentioned, I saw Fantastic Beasts 2
Yes.
in theaters. So, I also watched the first one prior to that. So, I was like, fresh in my memory.
Yeah, so did I.
And I also watched all the Harry Potter movies
Nice.
Jesus.
at the shop. Yeah. It's been a busy couple
Have
weeks,
you
man.
done anything else?
No?
I didn't think so.
What, have you guys?
No.
We got our deer early in the season. What did you want me to do?
Forge some new hunting cards. I mean,
No comment.
absolutely not.
No,
Anyway,
we already
so I
discussed
watched
that in another episode.
all of the I've already watched all of the Wizarding World.
Yes.
I watched the second season of Community this week at work.
Oh, okay, that's
It is the second day of work this week. Crushed that. Crushed it. Last Saturday, I had Rogue One playing,
nice.
which still one of my favorite Star Wars movies. Still
great.
near the top.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I've watched most of Happy. I have one episode left.
Oh,
I told you
snap.
I was going to get it done, Craig. I
Yes,
didn't.
That's good enough. 7 episodes
But-
is good enough.
You got so
What-
much
what
further
do you-
than I got.
What do you think? Okay, so you both watched it?
I got 2 episodes in before I started doing the Harry Potter movies. To be
All right.
honest,
What do you
It
both...
grows.
I
What do
fucking
you-
love it.
What do you... Right?
Oh yeah,
It starts off like right where it starts off, 11 seconds in.
He blows
where
his brains
fake
out.
kills
Yeah,
himself,
I was
and
just
it's
like-
blood for 35 seconds.
I was like, this is
Where
my
they
show.
show the baby like after the guy nuked a baby.
Scott hasn't made it that far
Spoilers.
yet.
Yeah,
Like,
I,
what
that's the
the
past one I
fuck?
got to.
There's
but,
a
like,
this
baby in a
whole thing
microwave.
is-
I had to
Yeah.
pause. I had to pause the show and walk away and get water because I almost threw up.
that
It
was
was like,
so
what?
bad. I'm excited to get to that now. 'Cause
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's a fucked up show, but
It
I
goes
like
into
it.
Nick's set. Yeah.
One thing I saw
I
though.
th-
oh, sorry.
Oh, no, I was gonna say I think it's just like Christopher Molina. Like I think he's just he does SVU,
Yeah.
and then he does Man of Steel, and then he's like, well, I've done serious shit. Let's just fuck around
Wet
now.
Hot American Summer. Here we come.
Wet Hot American Summer, and then from there it moves right over into Happy.
Yeah, which is almost the exact same character, except
Yeah,
a lot
just
darker,
insane.
weirder.
So
Yeah.
dark.
Yeah, that's what I like about it.
No, I like it too, and like I saw like me and Craig briefly talked about this last week, but it is based off a comic book by Grant Morrison, who's super involved in the show too. Which he's a really good writer. He actually was one of the ones that brought back like Batman back in like the 80s. Like he was one of those guys. So yeah, no, I'm really excited to actually get through more of this now that we've done our Harry Potter episode. I can get back to watching it because I don't have to binge watch the rest of the Harry Potters.
Like, if you look at the color scheme and like the cinematography stuff, like it's so dark, it's so dreary. The acting is on par.
The
Like,
acting,
it's phenomenal.
that is the biggest takeaway I have from this show is that the acting is so good,
yeah,
just across
like you look
the
at
board.
I forget his name, the guy who plays Smoothie. I've seen him in a handful of other things. Predominantly, he's the guy who plays the Jewish comedian in Mad Men, who Don Draper's banging his wife. Go figure. And like that's the one thing I recognize him from directly, plus other stuff. But his like he fits the role perfectly of that like crazy doctor who's like, yeah, I cut off dicks.
Yeah,
What about it?
in thin slices.
What about it? This is just what I do.
He does. It's Patrick Fischler's his name. I'm just looking up
What else
what
is
else
he in?
he's in.
He's in a bunch of like random stuff.
He was in Mad
yeah,
Men.
like-
He was in Lost. He was in Californication. He was on Mulholland Drive.
Oh, speaking of Californication, Scott, you watched that, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I love that show.
He was.
He was. That's what Zoe
Yeah.
Zoe Kravitz was in.
Yep. He was in Once Upon a Time.
That's where I remember him from. Once Upon a Time, he's the author.
Yeah, he is. He was on. He was on Battle Creek, our favorite show to talk about.
Oh, I love that show.
He was on Shameless.
So short.
He was on. He was in one episode of SVU. One episode of Grey's Anatomy.
Previously established relationship.
Exactly. Yeah, he was on Lost for 9 episodes. He was on Mad Men for 4.
He was in Weeds as Don, the hotel manager.
There's one episode of Burn Notice. Who watches Burn Notice?
I didn't.
Harris watches Burn Notice.
Did you watch Aziz Ansari recently?
No, it just every time I see Burn Notice, it comes to mind immediately.
Who watches Burn? Harris watches
Burn Notice. His yearbook quote was "USA knows drama."
I never thought I'd see the day where I saw Craig reference Aziz Ansari before John Mulaney. Or Family Guy.
I can't think of a John Mulaney bit, to be completely honest with you. The other character I really like in going back to Happy again before we get too far off track.
Yep.
Is the guy that plays Blue.
Yes, he plays like he's just slimy enough.
It's in the way he talks, I think.
Yeah.
Because he's I don't know. There's something about the way that he does it.
Yeah, I really like Nick's old partner. I forget her name.
Just a second.
It's gonna bug me.
I've seen her in something
McCarthy.
before too.
Lily Moronic
Something
is
like
her
that.
name.
Something Eastern European.
Yep.
But no, I really like her because like her character has an arc to it, which you don't see too often in shows like that, where you see like character development and growth.
Yeah, especially if not what you expect from this show.
No, but you actually see her start as like a grizzled prick who's on the take, and then she grows, and you see her becoming more and more human, and then you see what she's going through on the day to day and why she does what she does, and that sort of thing.
She was in Cloverfield.
I haven't got to that part yet. I haven't seen Cloverfield.
You haven't seen Cloverfield?
No.
Man, you need to
Don't
watch
waste your time.
Cloverfield. You need to watch Cloverfield. No, don't listen to him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Well,
I know what I'm talking
you need
about,
to watch
Scott. Do you
Cloverfield.
trust me?
the reason I didn't watch it is I have trouble with like the found footage ones. They give me a little bit of a headache sometimes.
Okay, don't watch Cloverfield because it's the
Too
whole
much moving.
goddamn.
Too
Yeah,
like-
I know
yeah.
it, and that's why I didn't do it. 'Cause the
I
trailer,
really like
it's
it.
hard for me to watch the trailer for it. 'Cause
Okay,
I'm like,
then don't watch
wow,
it.
this is too much camera movement. Like it's not steady enough for me. It just it trips my eyes out.
I really liked it, but
Yeah, as a cultural, like this, well, I don't know, maybe not cultural touchstone, but like for its cultural references or like pop culture references, I've wanted to watch it. But yeah, like I said, I have a hesitation because I'm like, found footage and me don't sit too well together.
and I really liked that because I thought it was an interesting way to film something from a single perspective. It's like that movie that was on Netflix that we talked about on this show, and I can't remember what it's called. The one where it's like all filmed from within the car.
Hardcore. Oh, no.
Oh yeah. The one with the guy who played Crossbones.
Yeah, that
That's
was
the one.
Oh, that's Frank Grillo.
Yeah. Is it called Driver or something?
I think
that?
so. Just something like that. It's just Driver.
Yeah.
No, that
I'm gonna
one
look
was a
up
really
his-
good one. That's a good like kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
That was the that was the. I don't want to compare the two because that was so much better, but.
But no, the unique style.
It's
of the
called
shooting,
Wheelman,
actually.
but yeah, the
Wheelman,
same idea where
that's
it's
what it
like
is.
the entire
Wheelman, that's what it
film
was,
is
yeah.
done as one, as one particular filming style instead of giving all.
Yeah.
It's like one perspective kind of idea, just something different. That's all. But yeah, Happy, so flippin' weird.
Yeah. But so good.
It-
So glad that Netflix was like, hey, by the way, here you go.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, I'm sure you saw it and probably laughed at it, Andrew, and I can't remember now because it's been so long. But like how they do the introduction for Happy every time, like the the title sequence that isn't really a title sequence. It's more
Yeah.
just find a spot to put happy in big
Yeah.
in big happy letters on the screen with a little ding,
and they
then
just
go back to
shove it
again.
in,
Yeah,
and it's always after something that isn't happy.
exactly. There's the one episode where I can't remember exactly what happens, but I want to say happy like hits the ground with like a splat, and then it goes bing, happy. I thought that was hilarious.
No, the show is it's very well written for what it is. Like, fantastic show. I'm glad they're coming out with the second season.
Yeah, I'm excited to finish watching it, and to try and find the comic it's based on to read.
Yeah.
'Cause I love doing that with these shows.
Yes, I hear it's graphic.
Like a graphic novel.
Aha.
Haha.
I actually watched the trailer for Happy today, and it said based on a graphic novel, and then the next, like it does
Thing was like,
it does a scene, and then it's like,
just-
and we do mean graphic.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, no, it really does.
So next up, I watched Family Guy, obviously.
Obviously.
Won't go into too depth of that. Watched the latest episode of The Flash that's on Netflix. Kind of disappointed in it. Mainly because I can't stand Iris West. Yeah. So it kind of ruined the episode for me.
I haven't watched
Not
this
gonna go-
week's one yet. Wait, was that this week's or last week's?
Last week's with
Okay.
the weird bone guy.
Oh, yeah, Ragdoll.
Yeah. Yeah, that was, and it was, ugh.
Yeah, no,
No, thank you.
We slightly discussed this, and we won't mention everything we
Yeah.
discussed before.
Just,
but
I can't stand
yeah,
Iris.
she's not the
Can't
most
stand
well
her.
written. I feel like her character doesn't.
No.
Is not given the right stuff. You know what I mean? Like, she's supposed to be the leader of the team, but she's also trying to be a reporter, but she doesn't have any like expertise.
She has too many things going on.
Yeah.
Like when Killer Frost was part of the team, like, okay, she's been a part of the team from day one.
Yes.
She's the health person.
Yeah.
She's Dr. Caitlin Snow.
She's the medic.
She's monitoring. Yeah, that's what she's monitoring. And then she happens to be Killer Frost too.
Yeah.
Well, we can use her code for stuff.
Yeah.
Then you get Cisco. He's the tech guy. He's one who knows all the gadgets, all the stuff. And by the way, he's Vibe. He can also do this.
Yeah.
Cool. He's got his two shit going on. And then you get even fucking Ditney. Like, he's like, oh yeah, I'm trying to solve this crime,
you
but
hate.
also I'm elongated man.
Yeah.
I like him better than Iris West.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Yeah.
Do you like
Yeah.
him more this season that he's not as prevalent? Like, I forget he's in some
absolutely.
episodes.
I like that. I don't like him, but he's established as like what he does.
Yeah.
They're not trying to teach him to do his stuff,
That's
and like
fair.
that's one of the things I didn't like about Wally when they first introduced him. Right?
Yeah.
Was that he was he happens to have a higher threshold than
Yeah.
what Barry
that's
had
fair.
when he first started, but now he's got to learn his stuff, but he doesn't have the patience to. And I was like, ugh.
I'm having that little bit
Whatever.
of a feeling with his daughter right now.
Yeah.
I'm like, really,
But
girl? You can't just like you don't want to learn from the dude who
Yeah,
you've
you
been
don't want to
admiring
your hero.
Like I never understand that when any character is like that in a thing. Like, oh, I know better than the dude who's trying to teach me.
I don't
even
think
though-
I would ever try to impress them.
Yeah, I don't
think
get
I'd be
that.
like, okay, well, I want to watch you do it first.
Yeah.
So then I can emulate and try to perfect it.
I don't
want
want to embarrass myself
same way.
trying to impress
Yeah.
you, like, because I know how much better you are than me. Like, that's the thing. It's like they think because they have the same connection that they're at the same level as him, and it's like, well, no. He's got
Barry
5
sucked at first, too.
seasons. Yeah, he's got 5 seasons out under his belt. He's beat at least
Yeah.
3 speedsters already. Like, come on, listen.
One more thing before we move on.
Yeah.
I can't fucking stand his suit this season.
Yeah, no, it's ugly as fuck.
I've texted you about that. It looks stupid.
He's so scrawny.
Like,
Like, it makes him look extra
Shit,
scrawny,
like,
too.
Yeah. I think it's the light, like that's
Yeah.
the light colored suit.
I agree.
That, and when he turns his head, you can see like the rubber
Yeah, you can see a
or
little bit
whatever the
of a
fuck
gap.
it is. It'll like stick out and like it doesn't even cover his head.
I think they-
like it barely
yeah.
covers the back of his
I
head.
think they left more of a gap so it's like less chafing for him to talk. That's my only guess. Like on his neck.
See,
Like that's the one thing I noticed. Like when he's talking, there's like less, like nothing's moving on like the neck part,
Yeah.
whereas before it definitely went more up his neck a little bit. So
See.
that's my only guess.
Growing up with the Justice League cartoons,
Yeah.
granted it wasn't Barry Allen, it was Wally West,
And it
who
was
was
a
the Flash on
Cartoon.
that. And it was a cartoon. I looked at his suit and literally I just thought spandex. Like it looks like someone put on a full body suit of Under Armour and then ran like a son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And you know what? It worked. In my head, fine. Absolutely. Wear your unitard.
Yeah.
Do your thing. Don't give me a suit that looks like rubber.
Yeah. This one, I just like it fits. Like I know he's not like supposed to be like he's not supposed to look like Superman or a big bulky one, but he's also supposed to look a little
person.
fit. Like he's supposed to look like a fit runner, right? Like he's a superhero.
Well, especially because he's got such a high metabolism. Like he's supposed to look pretty cut.
Yeah,
like,
and he looks
not just a super skinny dude.
So skinny. Like I'm concerned from him, and I'm super skinny
He was heavier on Glee. I'll say it.
Like I feel like the only working out he's doing is running, and it's like, oh man, you gotta lift some weights too. You gotta go hang out with Stephen
Quit
Amell.
the running.
Go hang out with Stephen Amell. That guy knows how to work out.
Go do the salmon wall or whatever the hell it's called?
don't know.
The salmon ladder.
Is that
the
what it's
salmon
called?
ladder. The one where it's like the thing that you
that thing's crazy.
hook up this way.
Like when I saw that, that's when I gave up on fitness. I'm like, no, this shit's gone too far.
It's not weights anymore. Now it's
I gotta climb a wall. Like, yeah, I want to be a superhero, but I gotta fucking take a bar and throw it up 5 feet in the air.
and then bring it down.
I can
That's
barely
the thing. You
do a
gotta bring
chin
that
up.
shit
Come
down.
on, guys. That's not true. I can barely do a pull up.
There we go. Anyways, moving on before I get too heated
there,
about this. I watched a couple episodes of Gallivant again.
Of course.
Because I was doing some work around the house. And I was like, I need something that here. Na 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 na. There was a hero known as Gallivant. Fantastic. I also watched the Power Rangers movie, the recent one that came out a few years ago.
Okay, nice.
Because spectacular movie.
That's great.
Do I even need to?
That's why I didn't say anything. I'm
myself?
like, do we have to defend it? No, it's great.
Yeah, like no, fuck, it's awesome. Okay, deserves so many sequels.
Yes. Never gonna. Get
I
them.
watched Daniel Sloss's Dark again.
Me too.
Because he's fucking hilarious. That joke is fucking excellent. That's what it is. It's fucking excellent. I watched Crystalia's Incorrigible last night.
Good call. Good call.
Couldn't sleep, so I was like, I'm gonna watch some comedy.
And didn't make a
Boom.
single reference to me. I'm shocked.
It was like 3 o'clock in the morning.
That's
man.
fine. I was also up at 3 o'clock in the morning. We were sending Facebook messages back and forth.
That's true. I should have texted you. We were communicating technically.
We were.
So I watched that, which is awesome. It's orange, bitch.
Since when do you wear pink?
Wear pink. It's maybe you guys were slowing off because earlier I said it's fucking orange. Fantastic. I watched Popstar last week.
Okay.
Yep.
That explains the documentary or the mockumentary reference before.
Yeah. Yep. That was the way I tied it in, and then I didn't even talk about it right off the bat. But no, it's so good. So good. I know Craig very much enjoyed it.
I did really like it. Yeah. I've only watched it once. It's been a
I haven't seen it yet. I know.
No, this wasn't something that I watched, but it was something I read, and I feel like because I have the outlet, I need to say it. And I'm not even going to go into depth about it. I'm just going to say it, and I'm going to move on to my last thing. I read the Civil War comic like the thick one, like all 7 issues of it put together in one book. I read that. Didn't fucking like it at all. In the slightest.
I could see that.
7 comic books of, here's some pissed off people. Okay.
Yeah.
Like
spread over
there was
a
no
year.
there was no development of anything.
No, nothing happened.
It was just, hey, I agree with this. Hey, I agree with this. Okay, fuck you, let's punch each other.
It's literally just picking teams.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
Like,
It's gym class picking teams.
Well, I watched that, and then I read the Infinity Gauntlet collaboration one.
Okay.
Like a while back. I guess about 3 weeks ago now. I read it, and it was the same thing for that.
Yeah.
It was just a bunch of shit happening.
That's what a lot of the culminating events end up being. Is just, we built up all the way to just a big fight for 100 pages.
Like it was, almost it sucked, man. Like it was not for me. Like I realized reading it, I was like, this is why I like DC. Like the characters have depth.
Yeah.
There is a storyline you're following, and even if it's just bringing all sorts of shit together, there's a clear train of something happening. It wasn't just huge names brought together for the sake of it, like what happens.
Yeah, I've definitely
in
noticed
Civil War.
since I've started actually reading comics that I prefer DC ones than Marvel ones.
Yeah. Like I've always said I like them more, but it was truthfully, it was mainly based around the cartoons I grew up with, and the few books I had read. But now that I'm getting more into them, because Costco will sell them like the big the multi ones for like $10 to $13. I'm like, yeah, I'll buy it.
Yeah, no, that's a good deal.
So I buy it, and then I read it, and then I'm just thoroughly fucking disappointed.
Yeah, I find the DC ones, or at least it's easier for me to find DC ones that have complete stories or like compacted stories, as opposed to like
I'm not.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say I'm not sure if it's just the artwork. Like even when I read the old like Justice League stuff, like the artwork just seems better.
That I find is a little bit of like a subjective thing. Everyone's got their own art styles they like, right? So that's why I'm like,
yeah. But and then just storyline wise, like there seems to be some more going on in the DC ones, and for me, anyways.
Well, it also feels a little bit more like organized at DC than Marvel. Like Marvel, trying to figure like right now I'm going through DC Rebirth, right, which is a couple years old.
Yep.
So I'm just going through all those. And that's it's pretty easy for me to know what's in the DC Rebirth. They all have the tag DC Rebirth on the top, right? And I know pretty easily that's like, okay, this is part of what I'm trying to read and get through of the 100 that make up it, right? But it's like, then I go over to Marvel and it's like all new Marvel, and it's like, oh, well, these 13 different there's these 13 different like timelines, and none of them all actually connect, but they're all the Marvel universe, and it's like, wait, what? I just want to read something.
Well, that's like the Injustice timeline for me. Like, I love the Injustice ones. Yeah, like those are my favorite. Those my favorite comic series is the Injustice ones.
Okay, I could see that.
Just because it's not anything that you've seen on TV,
it's connected to
seen
nothing,
in a movie. It's just written for the sake of being there.
Yeah, well, it was written for the
here's your Injustice video game, but here's everything that happens before it, and you're like, oh, fuck yes.
Here's what explains the reasoning for this game to exist.
Like here's what brought it in.
Yeah.
But then I go over and I read the Infinity Gauntlet, and I'm like, oh, okay. This starts off making some sense, but what?
It takes a turn, and then death's involved.
Why?
And Captain America pretty much just gives a speech, and that's how he wins.
Oh, yep. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. I watched some video on it, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll get to that later.
No, like Marvel movies are absolutely better than Marvel comics, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like it's just like there's no real connection at all either.
Yeah, I don't feel like
I think that's another reason why I like DC, because as we've established, I like to see my shit come from comic book to like onto the screen. And you see that more in DC, whereas Marvel, it's like, oh, we can do what we want as long as we use the title.
Yeah, they've had so many versions of every character that it's like, we can take from anything, and everything's all the same and different, and it's like,
yeah. And you're like, okay, just tell me when it's done.
Yeah, I feel like DC it just has like, it's got a little bit more of a core, you know what I mean? Like a true core where it's like, okay, DC's Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. That's like the core that have been around for forever, whereas Marvel has some core ones, has some big ones, but everyone's got a different one.
Keep changing.
Yeah, well, everyone's got their own one, right? Like a big chunk of the world, it's for them, it's Spider-Man, and then you go over to me, and I'm like, don't care about Spider-Man, you know? And then it's like some people it's the X-Men, and it's like other people it's Fantastic Four, and it's like, well, where's the one thing that like ties it all, you know? Like, and it's like
just because Tony Stark banged someone from every version of it doesn't mean that he's the center of it.
Yeah, exactly. And they don't even write the comics to like, well, from what I can see, like I said, it's been so hard for me to try and figure out the Marvel Universe comics that I haven't been able to dive into it. Because I'm like, what storylines am I reading? Am I like, I don't know.
Well, I don't think it helps that there's like, just genetically speaking, like there's so many things that to me just, what's the difference between a mutant and a fucking superhero? Like, to me, they're the exact same. And then finding out the mutants are totally, like, you get your own thing and you get your own thing, but you're also part of this. And then Fantastic Four, you're over here, you have your own shit going on, but sometimes this guy comes over.
Yeah.
And then there's too many different things going on.
Yeah, I agree. And it feels like the only way they connect is just because they make it connect as opposed to it existing. But like, I'm also not an expert on like Marvel's either.
Even like comics. Justice League stuff, you're like, oh, here's the Bat family, but like, you're like, okay, well, they're part of this regime.
Yeah, you know where they come from, but maybe it's just weird. I feel like I'm slightly biased just because I know more
Oh, I know I am,
Yeah.
but it doesn't make sense to me.
No, I
any of it.
agree. But we should move
But
past
going
that,
from
yeah.
the disappointment of Civil War onto my final thing, going from disappointment to disappointment, I'm going to be the one person in the world that says Bohemian Rhapsody was a waste of fucking time.
No, I've heard that from some people.
Everybody.
Such a waste of
Critics
time.
don't
Told you
like
that
it.
going in.
Save your money. Go on YouTube. Listen to Queen songs and read their Wikipedia page.
Just watch the Live Aid performance because it's fantastic.
That's it.
Well,
The last 20 minutes of the fucking movie is them acting out
Live Aid.
their Live Aid
Yeah.
The
performance.
least they could have done was just
Why?
play what they should have done was just played the Live Aid performance.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would have
Or,
preferred
like,
that.
okay, what-
I'd go
what
see
they
it if
do-
that did have 20 minutes of Live Aid performance in it.
Why? Just watch it at home.
Spoilers. What they do is they hint about halfway through that Freddie Mercury is sick, and then Queen breaks up because he goes on to do his own thing because he becomes a drama-filled little priss, and then he finds out he's sick, and then he comes back and he tells the gang, like, we need to get together, we need to do Live Aid, like, this is what I need to do. And then he can't sing well, his throat hurts, and then he's like, oh yeah, by the way, I got it. And they're like, you got what? He's like, oh yeah, I've got AIDS, there's nothing we can do about it, like, I have to be able to to do this. I don't want to fight anymore. This is my last this is my last time on Earth. I don't have time to fight, whatever. And then they go and then they show a bunch of emotional shit. And then you get on and they do the performance. And then after the 20 minutes of performing, they show you that Freddie Mercury died on whatever in 1991 or 5 or whatever the fuck it was. Died at here, surrounded by loved ones. And his love interest, Jim Burton or whatever his name was, Jim something. He created a foundation with the rest of Queen called Mercury Phoenix, which is supposed to support like AIDS research and finding a cure. And stuff. They create this foundation. Now, if they had moved that, the Mercury Phoenix Foundation thing, if they had moved that to right after he tells the band that he has AIDS and like the prep for it, the lead up, have the actual actors, do their bit, and then be like right before they go on stage, show you that part, and then just cut to the Live Aid footage, I would have been on board. I would have been like, you know what? Fine. I'm going to watch this concert. It's going to be spectacular. I don't want to see actors pretending to do 20 minutes of a concert that happened.
That part doesn't make any sense to me because there's literally footage. And
Yeah,
it wouldn't shock
legitimate.
me if they had done almost shot for shot anyway.
Okay, so Freddie Mercury was a dick,
Well, yeah.
apparently. A total drama-filled priss. And every time he said something sassy or snappy, there was a guy behind me who was, ha-ha! Ha! Ha-ha-ha! That was his laugh.
Nice.
Use the way people laugh
so
in
glad I didn't
Campbellford
go
at
see
the
this.
Aaron.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what?
Yeah, you seem to be on the critics side, which is something that never happens for us.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with people who get paid to actually not like things professionally.
Yeah.
I haven't even
No,
seen
it
it,
was-
and I can tell you
Okay.
I don't like it.
I think I would appreciate it more as a movie if they came out right this second and they're like, by the way, 100% of proceeds from this movie are going to the Mercury Phoenix Foundation.
Yep.
Or they're going to this.
You know what would've
they're
been better?
going somewhere.
You know what I would have preferred is if they had just taken the money that they spent on making the movie
And given it
donated
to
it straight to the
that would have made more
foundation.
sense. Yeah, that would have
Oh, absolutely.
helped more lives. That's for sure.
But no, this one it screams cash grab right from the get-go. I'm like, oh no, this movie is 100% about just making money for the sake of making money. And then I was talking to someone about it. They're like, well, what about like Ray? Ray was the same thing, and I was like, Ray was it was a fantastic story.
Yeah, but I could
The
have
acting
done
was
without
incredible.
the whole brother dying thing.
So could Ray Charles.
It was only a matter of time.
There's your John
before we
Mulaney
got the
bit.
John Mulaney joke
Yeah.
in. Yep.
But like the story of Ray was start to finish, from him as a child growing up right through until the end. All the shit he went through. The acting was amazing. The storyline was amazing. It was awesome. like Bohemian Rhapsody was just a bunch of Queen songs, and then they just showed some dramatic shit around to make a couple bucks. Like it did not work for me. It did not sit well, and I was thoroughly disappointed in it. I'd give it a 7 at most.
Well, it's higher than critics again, and I believe I'm not sure, but I think it might still be
I don't think
Rotten.
I give, like, even my, like, worst movies, like, I don't think I'd give them, like, lower than, like, a 6. Like,
So nice.
yeah, like
That's how I feel
I've
about
watched,
movies too.
I've
though.
given movies I like a 5. I'm like, I like this, but
like
it's not a good movie.
like, I've watched it. I would probably watch it again, but, like, I'm not going to rush out to see it again or buy it.
Yeah, no, I get that.
So, like, it gets a 6. Or a 7, I mean. It gets a 7, so, like, whatever. Do with that what you will.
No,
My scale is
Your
basically like
skills.
5.8 to 10. Things I thoroughly enjoy that I'm going to
You have a
watch again are like a
weighted scale.
9.5. Yeah, it's a weird scale, but I stand by it. Don't go see Bohemian Rhapsody.
I wasn't planning on it. I thought about maybe going to see it last week, and then I was like, I think I know this. And then I've heard all these different, same thoughts as you and different reviews, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll be okay.
Walking out of the theater, everyone was like, "Oh my god, that was so good! I can already see they're gonna win awards. They're tackling a new issue." And I'm like, "What fucking issue did they tackle?"
New issue? You mean that late
Like-
80s thing that
The-
people talked?
Yeah.
You mean AIDS that they've been dealing
Yeah.
with for a
Well-
long time? Like, I know it's not
Well,
solved by any
even
means,
if-
but
Even if you look at Freddie Mercury, he dealt with being straight at one point. And then in the movie, he's like, he tells his wife, he's like, "I'm bisexual." And she's like, "You're gay. I've known for a while." And then he's like, "Oh yeah, okay, I'm gay." And you're like, okay. Like, and it was what it was, but it felt like they really went out of their way to force it down your throat. Like, yeah, he was a philanderer. He slept with everything that moved. Here's what happened, and this is why he got AIDS. And I'm like, yeah, everyone knew that.
yeah.
Like, everyone knew that. Like, this movie did not need to be made.
Yeah, see, I thought that there was more mystery to it. And then I recently listened to a podcast episode actually on Queen. And this is an episode that was made a couple of years ago before this movie was even being talked about, right? So it was just one on Queen, and I'm like, oh, okay, I've learned everything I needed to before needing to see this movie. Where's the mystery? Like, I thought it'd be more about personal life stuff, and it's like,
no, it is legitimately like if they made a documentary style, like a docu, it would be perfect. If you just watch them from start to finish, or they talked about their lives and their time together, and how Freddie, you watched him go from being this over the top guy to this rock legend to just being over the top dramatic again. I'd be like, yeah, okay, I'm fine. I watched this movie on History Channel. It was excellent. I got to see some songs played. Cool. But because it was just a regular movie style,
Biopic,
it just, totally unnecessary.
See, Scott, now all you have to do to round out your experience is watch the Live Aid performance on YouTube, and you'll be fine. You'll be set.
Yeah.
You'll have watched the movie.
oh, I'm sure I've watched that dozens. Well, I know exactly what you're talking about. That I can see it right here now in my mind. The band on his arm, the white beater, the white jeans,
Yep.
just blaring out
The mustache.
"Ayo." Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna go that far. I wasn't gonna ruin your guys' and our listeners' ears. Listener,
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, that's it.
that's all you watch.
And
this
like
week?
the acting was good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give them the credit where credit's due. The acting is really well done.
just the
The
story
movie was
yeah.
unnecessary and fucking stupid. Don't go see it. What did you guys watch this week?
Craig, why don't you go? Because I don't really have much to say. Yeah, I don't have much to say, so it'll be a quick roundup.
Awesome. I'm still watching whatever season of Life in Pieces is new and on Netflix. I can't even remember. It's good, though. They seem to have gotten less family friendly, which is interesting. There are a lot more innuendos. I'm not complaining. For a family-based sitcom, it's getting much more sexual, which is interesting. I'm gonna die. I watched some Family Guy, season 16.
So did Freddie Mercury.
So did Freddie Mercury. He said he was gonna die, or you watched Family Guy?
Die.
Both.
Oh.
He probably
A little
watched
from
Family
column
Guy.
A, a little from column B.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched some of season 16 of Family Guy. Started at the beginning, worked my way up a little bit. It's good. I watched both of Daniel Sloss's stand-up specials,
Ooh, dark.
Dark and Jigsaw, because what
Are these
else do you
both on
want to do?
Netflix?
But they are.
So this
Yeah,
guy hasn't
and they
been
are-
suggested
they are
to me
stellar.
yet. That's why I'm like,
What are you talking about? We must have just.
no.
we must
I
have
mean by
suggested it.
Netflix.
Oh, like
You
actually
guys might have
suggested it.
mentioned it
We've
once or
definitely
twice.
spoken about
Yeah,
it.
we've
But-
talked about him a couple times. This is the
Dead
third time
Sister
I've
bit?
watched the specials. Jigsaw is really good. You'll probably relate a
Yeah.
lot to Jigsaw.
Jigsaw's good, I think, because it's not even really like it starts off very comedic, where he just hates on vegans,
Yes.
and then the last 20 minutes is just literal, just like shop talk, just like life.
Yeah, Jigsaw's good if you're older and have some life experience. That's what I found.
Yes.
Because I watched it with my brothers, and they did not find it nearly as funny as I did. But they're 17 and 19.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
Kids,
I'm
and
very
not
Not
intrigued by this
25, and
now,
they haven't
yeah.
had the
They're
thought.
not grizzled veterans
Ex-
of this thing called life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They haven't had that thought of it'd be so much easier if she just died.
That's one of the jokes they make, Scott.
I just was not expecting that from Craig right now, and I just put
Yeah.
it into like the context of how it fit into Craig's life. I'm like, who would that be?
This would be so much easier.
No
if she
comment.
just died. And then you answer the phone because deep down, like you're thinking there's a small chance that it's a stranger walked by a mangled
And
corpse.
found a phone on a body.
Buddy.
You have to hide the disappointment in your voice when it's them.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're driving somewhere? Yeah, I'll stay on the line.
I just think that bit in particular is funny because it's like it starts off we're like, well, if they come home with orange juice with pulp in it, that's
Pulp,
I
it's
can't
fucking
live
over.
like this. And then 9 weeks later, it's like, it would be so much easier if she just
She just
died.
died. Yeah.
I'll have to check that
He's
one out.
he's a genius when it comes to comedy.
Oh, yeah.
I'll throw that on while I
I-
cook this weekend.
Can't believe I did not find him before that just appeared
Yeah.
on Netflix because that seems like the kind of thing I should have known about. But I watched that. I watched Daredevil by Osmosis.
Oh, right,
It's
your
been
brother's watching
on-
it.
Oh,
It's been on while I'm in the room,
Yeah.
so I've
I don't know what
watched
that
bits
means.
and pieces of it.
So we talked about this last week, Andrew. His brother's watching Daredevil, and so when they're in the same room as each other,
I thought it was called
No.
Daredevil by Osmosis, and I was like, "What the fuck is that?"
Nope, just Daredevil. I'm just picking
Just-
watching
just
it
from, like,
watching
being
it by
around,
Being
eh?
around. Yeah, I'll be sitting on the couch and I'll be watching it, so I'll watch some of it. It's all right. I don't think I could sit down and watch it.
no, you definitely
No,
could not.
it's. I don't think you could. I can barely do it, man.
Yeah,
It's,
I'll agree with you on that. Like, they're probably, I won't say my least favorite, but not.
I think the problem with them is they're 45 fucking minutes
Well,
long.
That's part of
If
it.
you like,
I like
at least with the Flash, like everything's bright, everything's like they're doing shit. You can see everything.
Yeah.
I like-
You go to the Marvel stuff and like it's 45 minutes of just intensity the
shadows.
whole time. Yeah.
I like the which is funny because their movies are the opposite. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like some of the characters in passing, but I don't think I could watch them for a long time.
Well, see, that's the annoying thing is because the seasons are only 13 episodes, but they don't feel like it because they drag out so little story into 13 episodes. Like, you get to episode
That
10.
are 45 fucking minutes long,
Yeah,
man.
and that you get to episode 10 usually, and they just like decide to like do a little reset and take you back 3 episodes, but just with the new
Yeah.
villain, and then they go through the same stuff they did for the last 3 episodes in the last 3
Yeah.
episodes of the season. It's just like, oh god,
Really, they should be 10 episodes long.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, like every other Netflix series.
It's from a guy
10
who's watched
episodes.
them all.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah, I definitely
Yeah.
couldn't sit down and watch it, but while I'm editing the podcast, definitely a good time to
Daredevil
sit down
by
and watch it.
Osmosis.
Daredevil by Osmosis. And
You
the
could
last
be for a podcast.
It would be.
Daredevil
Yeah,
by
it would.
osmosis.
it's where you watch it, but it's on in the background behind you, and you kind of
So,
have to talk
yeah.
about the episode while you're while you're watching. So you're talking about last week's episode while you're watching this week's episode, but it's on behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Daredevil by osmosis. We're coming up with some really good ideas for podcasts here.
Yeah, we did a couple last
really.
weekend.
We got some.
Watch people take the idea and then create it, and then
fine.
they
I
get
just
a
want
lot
credit.
more listeners than
I just
we
want to
have.
credit.
That's all I want too. Is a
Ask
credit.
me
Just
on as a
shout out.
guest.
Yeah.
And if you don't credit me and you ask me on as a guest, you better friggin' believe I will point to this tape.
We'll bring audio clips with us.
That's
Yeah.
it.
So if anyone
Yeah,
steals
try
this,
defending yourself in court by osmosis, you sons of bitches.
that's funny because Daredevil's
Fellas
about
at the
lawyers.
freaking FTGU.
The last thing I watched, and it is literally the last. Well, that's not true. I watched Life in Pieces, but I already talked about that. But I was gonna say the
called Last
the
Man
very
Standing.
last thing I watched before the podcast, which wouldn't be true. But I watched the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Oh, so you
Ooh,
watched
yeah.
the first of the two?
I
like
did.
I had suggested.
I didn't mention it all during the Harry Potter thing because
We kinda skipped
sometime
past
between
it.
you guys, sometime between you guys talking about Harry Potter movies I haven't seen and talking about the second movie, I must have missed the part where we talked about that. So I didn't even get to bring it up.
We did not talk about the first one
Exactly.
whatsoever.
So
We talked about it right before we got heavy into the second
I was
one.
kind of eyes glazed over listening to you guys talking about the Harry Potter movies, and I'm like, he just said Grindelwald. What the? What did I miss?
Yeah, you missed the
How
whole
the fuck
thing.
did we get here? We talked for like a minute tops
Okay.
about the first one.
So I completely missed that part.
We
But
just
I did
really
watch
talked
it.
about how it connected to the second one.
Yeah.
Not
I
be
watched
spoiled.
it
you
and
en-
liked it, but it should have ended
You
earlier.
liked it? Yeah.
Yeah,
I-
no, I could see.
I don't think it helped that I broke it up into 2 evenings because it's not a short movie, and
Yeah,
I don't
no.
feel like investing 2.5 hours or however long it
Yeah.
is into watching it. But it just felt like it had come to a resolution which was kind of boring,
Yeah.
and then they were just like, oh, but this is not over yet.
No, we need
We
the
have to
exciting
deal.
resolution.
We
Oh,
have
Colin Firth is about to become Johnny Depp. Get the fuck out of here. I would have liked it better if it had stayed Colin.
Yeah, I would have been fine with that too. I think everyone said
Or
that
Colin
so far.
Farrell, sorry,
Yeah.
not Colin Firth.
I was gonna say I think I would have recognized if it was Colin Firth. I figured out what you were talking about, but yeah, like it had a resolution, then it had another resolution, then it had another resolution when they obliviate Kowalski in the rain, and that
Yeah.
should have been it. But then no, we have to go further, and he's got to open up his bakery because you can't have loose ends in this kind of story.
Nope.
And then,
But then-
you
but
got to
then
go
you
further
gotta-
because
you
he
gotta
couldn't
sh-
just open the bakery.
Yeah.
You had to
No,
have.
he's got to have his witch girlfriend who's a smoke show.
You have to have the little
show
hints show up, and I could not handle that she called him honey constantly.
No, I
It's
could
okay,
see that.
honey.
That irritated me because
I don't
it's
like-
just,
I don't
it's
like
just
being called hun.
condescending.
Yeah.
Is what it felt like. Is like I wouldn't
See,
like
you say that, and I'm
if-
just like, oh, you call me honey.
I wouldn't like that if someone did that to anybody, really.
See, for me, I just don't like people who you're not in a relationship with using pet names. Like, I hate being called hun by anyone. If you're a 57-year-old woman and you call me hun, I'm gonna be like, oh, thank you to your face, but inside I'm like, my name's Andrew. Like,
And don't you forget it.
I think this is the one thing where I'm like, nah, they can call me hun. I don't care.
if you're for instance a 16 or 17-year-old girl who's a cashier at Sharps,
Please don't call
and
me
when
honey.
I'm going
Oh,
through,
wow.
I'm
You're
like,
really
did you
Please
want to
don't
bag?
call me honey.
Did you want a bag today, hun? No, thank you. Also, here's my lawyer's card because I'm gonna fucking need this. Don't call me hun.
No, you gotta call her ma'am.
Okay.
That's what you gotta do. Thanks, ma'am.
what a-
no, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, make sure you like really
Andrew.
like put emphasis on that she looks old. She looks like a
Like-
ma'am.
Well, I think it's just like she's just trying to be a nice person.
That's what I feel like
and
most of the
maybe
time it
she's
is.
like she's wiser than her actual age. Don't fucking call me hun.
See, I think the only reason I
Call-
defend it is because I call people bud sometimes, and I don't mean it condescending. It's because I've forgotten your name.
I only say
See, I say good day, sir,
Yeah, yeah.
to
I do
people
that
come
every
into the
once in a
shop. That's my go-to. It's good day, sir.
I say bud in a very
But-
friendly manner.
Well, I like to think it comes off as friendly when I say bud or buddy, but I could definitely see how someone could see that as condescending too, because you tend to be like, "Oh, hey, buddy," But it's
Sup, bud?
Yeah,
it's
buddy,
more often
buddy, I
like, "Hey,
avoid.
bud."
I say it a lot
Buddy
in traffic.
to me, buddy
What
to
you doing,
yeah,
bud?
buddy is just a derogatory term for me. Like when I hear buddy, I think like fucking buddy over there. Like, just like to me, it's just buddy and shithead are one and the same.
And I could see that, and I never mean it. Well, no, that's not true. 'Cause sometimes I definitely do mean a buddy over there, but
That's it. Fucking buddy over there. That's fucking shithead over there to my left.
I didn't even get on this. I don't even know what we were
I don't know.
talking about anymore.
Grindelwald.
Grindelwald. Craig saw it, or watched the first one. Great, yeah.
did.
What
I did.
else did you watch? Well, that was it, right?
That was it. That was the last thing I watched. So Scott, have at it.
Okay, well, we've pretty much talked about everything I've watched this week. Because I watched all of the Harry Potters except for the last two, like I said while we were talking about them. I watched both the Fantastic Beasts, which we already talked about, and I watched Happy, which we already talked about as well. And so the only other thing I watched
we
was
go.
Star Wars Rebels Season 4, which I mentioned a little bit last
I
week.
thought you were gonna say Rogue One, and I was like, I fucking talked about it.
Yeah, no, it's all close. But I finished off Season 4 of Rebels, which was the season's finale as well, or the series finale, I should say. And it ended terribly. Well, no, it's just they left a cliffhanger that I was like, you didn't need to do that. You only did that for no reason. I don't know. Maybe there's another show coming that's gonna connect to it, but it annoyed me just a little bit. So I don't like series finales ending on like a weird cliffhanger. Like you can end it on a little bit where I'm like, oh, I can imagine where it's going, but they kind of answered it and kind of they pretty much put a bow tie on the fact that none of the Rebels characters are showing up in any of the movies. And I'm like, okay, that kind of makes sense, I guess. But yeah, but that's all I watched this week, guys.
Cool.
Yeah,
Cool. It was a productive
Like
week.
I said, we talked about everything I already watched, right? So yeah, Harry Potters are long,
Yes,
2
they
hours
are.
each.
Time consuming. Like I said, I had to spread it out over 2 evenings.
Exactly.
I didn't even watch a Harry Potter movie.
I know, and I watched. So I got all but 2 of them. So, but then I watched the 2 Fantastic Beasts. So I watched 8 of them in total this week. So it's a lot of Harry Potter.
Hot damn. Yep. Lots of magic.
Yes. Speaking of magic, that brings us to the end of this magical episode.
Whoa! An ending segue?
He set me up for it, and I thought we should
don't-
do it since we're running super late.
Yeah, we are. We don't ever do that. Have a nice week, guys.
Bye.
Bay.
Bye.